how do consumers kind of avoid the bad fertilizers, right? Is there something that they can look on the back of the bottle and they could see like, okay, this includes this. I know this is going to be a harmful form of nitrogen that Tim had mentioned. How do they establish what's good and what's bad as far as fertilizers?
Sure. You can look at the back label and look at the nitrate load. Go to the guaranteed analysis and look at how much of the nitrogen is nitrate derived, how much of it is urea derived, how much of it is ammonia derived. I prefer carbon-based nitrogen, which is protein nitrogen. You do need a source of nitrates. Usually, it's in your soil with like what you amend it with. So you don't need to add nitrates on top. But the best way, if you're looking at bottled fertilizer, is look at your nitrate load. Look if they're using any amino acids or if they're using any type of protein nitrogen in there. That's first and foremost. Secondarily, look for ingredients that are natural, that are carbon derived. One of the biggest factors on the plant producing terpenes and other carbon-based molecules is the amount of carbon you're feeding it. And with organic soils, you can have, humus and compost and worm castings in there that are constantly leaching carbon for the plant to take up and to turn into your terpenes and flavonoids and active molecules. So, make sure, biggest thing is making sure you're not just using salts, making sure there's some type of carbon form in there. If you see everything derived from nitrate, phosphates, EDTA micronutrients, you're going to have a high water load getting into your plant. And I wouldn't call it bad fertilizers per se. I would mostly just put them in a specific category. They're conventional fertilizers, and they're going to do what conventional products do, which is create a high biomass but a low bricks content, which means you're going to yield really well. It's all going to taste like cardboard. It's all going to taste like water. You're like growing tomatoes in soil compared to growing tomatoes hydroponically with some of these bad fertilizers. Your tomatoes grown hydroponically with these salt blends are going to come out very bland in flavor. That's why we see bad tomatoes everywhere now, because they're all grown with salts. And that's why, you grow a tomato with organic soil, with amendments, with carbon-based nutrients. You're going to have the acidity increase. You're going to have all the antioxidants increase. You're going to have all the active molecules inside any of the fruits and vegetables are going to go off the chart by using ingredients that are more carbon-based. So if you see rock phosphate, right? A lot of times these rock phosphates are good because they slowly leach phosphorus into the soil, which allows the microorganisms to start feeding on the rock phosphate, and the microorganisms will start exuding all of these different carbon-based molecules. If we just use salts to grow plants, the plant doesn't have any carbon to use to convert into terpenes. So your terpene synthesis, your pathway goes from monoterpenes all the way over to sesquiterpenes, small to large terpene molecules. If the plant only has a certain amount of carbon, it's going to make it into small, lightweight molecules, and you're not going to have the spectrum that a plant with the carbon load is going to be able to create. So, long story short is tend to tailor away from nitrate-based fertilizer systems. And so if you're looking at the back of the label, just go with the low nitrate profile. And usually that means you're going to be top dressing. Usually that means you're going to be using protein-based nitrogen. But it's important to start making that change now compared to continue producing the same crop with the same flavor as everybody else and not be satisfied. So, nitrates are good for producing biomass. Nitrates are not good for producing a bricks content. Like I said, so at the end of that Mississippi State study that I mentioned before, did 3 applications of urea ammonium nitrate as one control, as ammonium nitrate as another control, and then just left the crop by itself. And it went from, with every application of a nitrogen and salt, it went from 12% bricks content, which is good, down to 7%, down to 6%, down to low 6% by the 3rd application. So it cut your bricks level in half, but your yield almost doubled. compared to the control. So it really is it's what you're going for, right? Not so I have a hard time with the bad fertilizer thing because it's not bad. It's just conventional, and it's just going to give you a specific result, and we should just go into it knowing that we're going to get a lackluster crop in the end, but we're going to get a lot out of it.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.